Hi everyone, welcome to the new video. Today in this video we are going to talk about how to configure synthetic private locations for New Relic. Now before starting, it's important to understand why we need synthetic private locations. Okay, so I'll open Notepad. So there are two types of website. In high level I'm telling global sites, another is internal sites. Global sites, for example, google.com, amazon.com, etc., which are accessible everywhere. You can open it, I can open it, someone sitting in the Mumbai, he can open it, someone sitting in Delhi, he or she can open it, someone sitting in Bangalore, they can open it. Right? Another is internal website. For example, organization internal sites. Suppose you are doing job in a particular organization. There are some portals which are accessible only inside your organization's laptop, desktop, or under their Wi-Fi. That means under their network configurations, it is accessible. Okay, accessible under a hood. We'll call it hood. Nobody else can access it. They should be on that network boundary to access that internal sites. Now, irrespective of whether they are global sites or internal sites, it is important to ensure its availability. And for ensuring availability, one the one important way is configuring synthetic monitors. And as our videos are focused on New Relic only, we will be talking about New Relic synthetics. So if I go to New Relic and if I go to synthetic monitor and I'll click on create your first monitor, and then I'll click on scripted browser option. If you have missed scripted browser, let's call it test and let's choose 6R for now. Now here you can see we have only public location. Now here I can hit google.com, I can hit amazon.com, they will open properly. Okay, but if I try to open an internal website, they will not be able to recognize it. For example, in my computer I have one website up and running and it is accessible only inside my computer. Nobody else can access it. Okay, and this is the website. Now what this website does is just for testing purpose, that it will launch, we'll click on the button, we'll get some text, that's it. This is the functionality. Now let me paste the URL. This is our internal site for the demonstration. Now someone sitting in Mumbai or Bangalore, they cannot access it. It is because it is only accessible in my computer, in this computer where I am currently showing these things. Let's try to prepare a synthetic script to hit that URL only. Okay, we will not prepare any complex scripts, we'll just hit this URL. So I have here I have chosen only one public locations. Now we'll get a boilerplate, leave it, we'll just do browser.get. Let me increase the font size little bit so that you'll see that what I'm writing. Let me hide the left pane and we will pass the URL. Okay, now I'll click on validate. Now the New Relic agent sitting in this Columbus, Ohio, USA location, it will try to access my internal portal, but it will fail. And if I open the screenshot in the new tab, it says that this site can't be reached. Of course, because it is only accessible on my computer, right? But if I want to configure synthetic monitor to ensure its availability, how can we do it? So the solution is synthetics private location. Now for private location, we can either deploy our private location in Kubernetes or Docker. So in our demonstration, to make it easy and simple, we will be using Docker. For installing Docker, you can go to this portal, official portal of Docker, and you can download based on the operating system you are using. So this tutorial will work on any operating system. So whatever OS you are using, feel free to download Docker for that. and you can go along with me. In my case, I already installed Docker and it is up and running currently. As you can see, I don't have any image. It's a fresh Docker install I have done on my computer. Now for that, for configuring one private location, before that, let's create a synthetic script uh, on our internal application. So I already have the URL copied, but let's copy it again to be in safer side. Now in our previous tutorials, I have shown how to create synthetic script, so I will not explain it deeply. So let's create a new project in Selenium ID. We'll call my site internal. We'll click on OK. We'll put the URL and we'll click on start recording. It will launch our portal. We'll click on the button. Now we will put a assertion. Assertion means after clicking on the button, whether this particular text appeared or not, we will check them. If it is appeared, then our test is successful. If not, our test is not successful. I'll show one demonstration how to do it. Okay. So let's stop the recording and we'll call it my site internal test and we'll click on OK. So it's a simple synthetic script. We'll first open it, then we'll set the window size, we'll click on a button, we'll click on the text, we'll select the text and add an assertion. Let's run it. See, very quickly it is done. Now why assertion is required? Suppose due to some functionality issue, even if we are clicking on that button, the text is not appearing. Okay, even though our application launched successfully and we are able to click on the button, but the text did not appear, that means what? Our application is not performing, right? There are some issues. So that's why assertion is important. Mainly we provide assertion when we are observing some changes on any web page. Now suppose here I'll click this step and I'll change the value from button clicked to only button. Now if I run this, you will see that it has opened my site, it has clicked on the button and it has also tried to click on the text, but the text was not matching with the assertion text, which is button. That's why it failed. Okay, in our case we intentionally failed it by changing the text. So we'll okay, fine. So our synthetic scenario is done. Now let's export this in New Relic compatible synthetic script. Okay, so for that let's save it on desktop. Fine, we have saved it and let's convert this script into Sidekick, or maybe let's use Selenium ID only. Why we are using Sidekick? Let's open that project again and we will click on that 3 dots. We'll click on export, we'll choose New Relic synthetics, we'll click on export. So let's save the script in desktop, my site internal test.js. Fine. So we have recorded our script and we have also exported it in New Relic compatible JavaScript code. What we can upload in New Relic and it will work. But now it will not work because we only have the public locations. We do not have any private location. So now let's configure our private locations. For that we will go to New Relic and we will go to same in the synthetic option, synthetic monitoring. Now here you will find one option called private location. So we'll click on private location. Fine. Currently I do not have any private location. Now I'll configure this computer as a private location for our synthetic scenario. We'll click on the button. Now it is asking one name, so I'll call this my PC. Okay, and description not required. Now there is an option enable verified script execution. If you enable it, whenever you will run your script in a private location, it will ask you for a password, okay, or passphrase. So in our case I don't want that, so I'll not check it. I'll click on generate key. Now here you will see two options. Either you deploy it in your Kubernetes or Docker. So as I said, we will use our Docker. So one ready-made command will be there. So we'll just copy it. We'll open our terminal window and we'll just paste it. Now we have to give it some time. It will pull all the images. So whenever you are doing this for the first time, it may take some time, but no, after the first run, everything will be smooth, like your validation, your synthetic validation using your private location. So let's give it some time. As you can see, the size is 213 MB for this particular image. So let's wait for it to get completed. Okay, so our, you know, this procedure is done. After it is done, you can open Docker and you will see one image got generated. Okay. Now this is not the only one image, some other images are also there, but they will be installed automatically when we will be executing our first round with the private location. That's why I said for the first run it is going to take some time. Okay, fine. So we have it. Now we can click on that view private location. It will take us to the private location page where we can see different parameter related to our this private location, which is called my PC. So the thing which runs our script is called minion. Here is as you can see minion. Now currently we have 0 minion because as I said that some other Docker images will get automatically downloaded when we will run our script for the first time. So they will not be visible after you configure it. It is going to take some time, but we are good with our steps. Now let's go to the synthetic monitoring page and let's try to run our script. So we'll click on create your first monitor. We'll click on scripted browser. We'll click on test. We'll choose a duration. And now you will see along with the public location under private location we have our private location what we have created. So we'll click on it because our script is an internal script. So let's copy the script and we'll click on write script. Now we will wait for the script editor to get ready because we have to remove the boilerplate script from here and paste our this big script which we created over our private application. Okay, fine. So we have pasted it everything. We have our verify text, assert everything. Cool. Now we will click on validate. So once we click on validate, as you can see, it is not running in Colombia, Australia, anywhere. Instead, it is running on my PC. My PC means our private container. Now, what you can do, let's go to Docker and let's see view details. So here you will be able to see the logs. On container you have to go and you have to click on that hamburger and click on view details. Now for our first run, you will see some messages here in the logs that, as you can see, pulling Docker image, New Relic synthetics, node, browser runtime, etc. So it is going to do it by itself only. You will get multiple warning. You may get some messages that it is failed to, you know, pull that image, but don't worry. Means it is not going to affect. It will try and try, and it will install everything for sure. So in our Neuralink, as you can see, it's at running validation for this time. So let's open our Docker and let's wait for it to get completed. Okay, so all the required images are pulled. Now, okay, so let's go to our Neuralink screen and let's wait for the validation to get completed. So our application is also running, so there is no problem. Fine, looks like our validation completed and it says success. And if I go to script log, it will tell that it has successfully launched our URL and set the window size, clicked on the button and verified the text. Okay, and then close the browser. Now you may think that why I cannot see anything if it is successful. It is because we are closing the browser. That's why we cannot see any screenshot. So let's remove that closed browser line. Where we have it. Yeah, there we have that then function. So we'll remove it and we'll validate it again. Now as I said, it is not going to take much time now because it has already pulled the images, so it should complete earlier as compared to our first run. Okay, we can see the logs. It started running. Fine, our validation is successful. So we are getting the message website running. Okay, and now if I go to container, you'll see there are 2 containers created, and if I go to images, you will see there are 4 images created. Okay, one is for ping monitor, another is for our API scripted API things, another is for node browser thing, another is the synthetic job manager, which this image we created, we have downloaded this one, synthetic job manager. Remaining items it has downloaded during our first run, during our first synthetic validation. Okay, so I hope this tutorial is useful, and now you know how to create your own private location if you want to configure synthetic monitoring for any of your private applications. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for upcoming tutorials. Thanks.